Yeah, copy that, Andre. Let's leave it on for the white fingers on that.
The Le Mans 24 Hours for 2018, the high point of the World Endurance Championship. Huge crowds were out in force for the traditional parade through the centre of Le Mans the day before the race. For fans and drivers alike, everyone embracing the atmosphere of this huge event.
I mean, I love the parade. It's amazing to come out here, look at the crowd and the fans. I think it's quite a rare occasion that we get so many people to come out and support us.
Rookies from the single-seater world of motorsport were more than happy to join in, mixing it with the fans.
In terms of on a race weekend, yeah, it's pretty insane. So, yeah, awesome, fantastic.
Race day and the cars are wheeled onto the grid, although there was just a hint of 2018 World Cup fever with some of the drivers. The grid full of VIPs and celebrities, Zach Brown, Adrian Newey, Michael Fassbender, enjoying the atmosphere that can only be Le Mans. In the thick of the busy grid was world #1 tennis legend Rafa Nadal, fresh from winning the French Open, on hand here to wave the flag for the start of the race.
It's just fantastic, no? Very happy to be here, experiencing something very spectacular, and yeah, having fun. The energy is difficult to describe.
Now let's get down to business. Let's look at the cars. Qualifying saw an impressive pole position in GTE AM taken by the Dempsey Proton Porsche. Young Matteo Caroli will be starting the race. 5 times Le Mans winner Derek Bell signed the GTE Pro pole position Porsche 911 RSR that looked just like his old Group C 956 from the 1980s. Italian Jimmy Bruni will start the car. He'll be teamed up with Fred Makovici and Richard Lietz.
If you see the quality and the quantity of drivers here, it's amazing. A lot of manufacturers put a lot of effort and money and budget in the championship, which is very good. And I think we see a very exciting 24 hours.
The biggest of the 4 classes is LMP2, with IDEX Sport taking the upper hand in qualifying. In LMP1, the Rebellions locked out the second row of the grid with 3rd and 4th place. Former outright winner Andre Lotterer spearheading their opening stint. But it was the 2 Toyota hybrids that took the front row as their own. Will 2018 see Toyota win Le Mans?
It's going to be a long, hard job, but yeah, we have been doing this for many years, and we have had many different situations before, sad one as well, but we all feel ready to fight, and let's see what we can do.
Le Mans is the biggest endurance race on Earth. To win the Le Mans 24 Hours is one of the greatest things a racing driver or a team can do. And that's just what Porsche have done over the past 3 years with their 919 hybrid LMP1 car, which has meant they have kept the trophy. So there's a new one up for grabs in 2018. starting flag is flown in by the French Army Commandos, as now it's gonna be time to go racing. Six times overall Le Mans winner Jackie Ickx, winner from the 60s, the 70s and the 80s, will be the driver of the leading car on the warm-up lap, the Grand Marshal, here in 2018. Now we're getting down to business. The drivers getting their helmets on, getting into their cars. Now there is nothing more to do except concentrate on the 24 hours ahead.
Pilots, démarrez vos moteurs.
Your starting position is on the left-hand side.
Green flag for the start of the formation lap. Green flag for the start of the formation lap.
Everybody now on their way for the last systems check, the warming up lap around this 13.6 kilometer racetrack here, the Circuit de la Sarthe. Teams look on, there's nothing more they can do. It's down to the driver, Jackie Ickx at the helm of the leading car, bringing them up towards the start line, getting them under starters' orders as the tension continues to build and build as only it can at Le Mans.
Two lines of cars, please. Two lines of cars.
Now they're given the starters flag from Rafa Nadal, and Le Mans for 2018 is underway. The two Toyotas streak ahead, but the Rebellion is trying to go around the outside. That is Andre Lotterer, but he's got a problem. He's off the racetrack immediately as they go up to the chicane, and the nose is off. The team look on, the nose is off, and there's a spinner immediately. The white Dragon Speed car has been spun. We are looking back at Lotterer. The nose is dipping down, it's touching the floor. He's got no steering, essentially. He tips the Dragon Speed car, the white car with the blue stars on it, into a spin at the very first corner. Look at this battle. The GTE pros charge into the first chicane for the first time here in 2018. How close can it get? Well, with 6 different manufacturers in the GTE Pro category, it's going to be like that, probably for the entire race. At the moment, it's Porsche leading. First and second are the Toyotas, third and fourth are the Rebellions, but this is the battle for 5th position. It is Vitaly Petrov in the number 11, the blue car, chasing and battling with Alex Brundle, the blue car with the white stripe. But a whole 13.6 kilometers, a whole lap has had to be done by Andre Lotterer with the nose off the front of that number 1 car. The Rebellion has had drama right at the very first corner. You couldn't script it. Meanwhile, the two Works Porsches in GTE Pro, absolutely hammer and tongs. We are riding on board with the Pink Pig, a retro colour scheme reflecting a colour scheme that was on a Porsche back in 1971. In the meantime, that is the sister Rebellion, the number 3 car. That is taking places away from one of the SMP cars. as they go down the Mulsanne Straight. Getting closer, getting closer. The SMP car, the Dallara chassis, was launched in November last year. It's done a load of testing and it's managed to get past the Rebellion. That's cheeky as they go into the Mulsanne corner, and the Rebellion has got stuck behind one of the Ford GT cars. Still a quick car, but not as quick as the Rebellion chassis itself. Meanwhile, look at this battle for 8th position. The Ferrari on the left-hand side, the Ford, the number 69 on the right-hand side. Look at it, it's a Ferrari, a Ford, a BMW, and they touch as they go into Arnage. That's going to run the BMW on, the brand new BMW M8. It's its first Le Mans.
They pushed me, the Ford pushed me. They're going into the corner. Copy, Martin. Just stay with them, stay with them.
Now let's have another look at that from the reverse angle. The BMW, well, it's racing, isn't it? Now here is the first pit stop for the number 92 Porsche. That is Kevin Estre getting out, and it's Michael Christensen, the Dane, who's getting in. Now the Porsche has stopped a lap earlier than the rest of these guys. They're all coming in. The sister Porsche is already in. There is the number 68 Ford, windscreen being cleaned. That is Jimmy Bruni. He's staying in the 1980s retro liveried number 91 car. Corvette, Ferrari, BMW, they're all coming in. Now, can we see a flash of pink coming through? Yes, we do. So there is the pink Porsche. It's rushed past in front of us, and these guys are still getting up to speed. The pink Porsche leads.
We had a really clean pit stop, and I think 91 he had to wait another car coming in, so he had to wait a little bit before he left, and maybe we changed tires. So I think the first lap of Michael would have been faster than Jimmy's last lap.
Now here is a glimpse of the brand new Ginetta LMP1 car. That's Alex Grundle at the wheel, but as you can see by the graphic, it's stuck in third gear. It's a promising start, but a bit of a glitch after the first hour of racing. Talking about racing, we're on board with the BMW, looking ahead to the Ford, the Corvette, the Ferrari, and the Porsche. This is the battle for 6th position, the Corvette getting ahead of the number 66 Ford. That's the car that essentially won here 2 years ago. This is the reverse camera angle as we come through the Mulsanne corner, looking from the Ford back at the Corvette. And look how close it gets. Goodness me, it cannot get any closer. Corvette now in their 20th year of racing here at Le Mans. An hour and 10 minutes into the 2018 Le Mans 24 hours, and this GTE Pro battle is absolutely tooth and nail. There you have the BMW taking 5th position away from the Corvette. The BMW's first year here, the Corvette's 20 years, as I've mentioned, but the BMW getting the legs on the American car for the time being. Look how close it is as we ride on board with the Ford GT down the Mulsanne Straight. That is the Ford taking a position away from James Collado, the number 51 Ferrari driven by the Brit, who is the reigning GTE Pro World Champion. Now there's a wheel. Now that's not part of the plan, and that is the Dragon Speed Oreca. It's 12th in class, 19th overall. The Frenchman Nathaniel Berton has just lost the wheel. Off it goes. That is on the run down to Arnage. He hasn't got that far to get back to the pits, but will he get back to the pits without too much damage being incurred to the LMP2 car? Here's an LMP1 car, it's a Rebellion, going around the outside or using all the road and then some. Now this is earlier in the lap, and that is a change of 3rd position because the Rebellion has got ahead of the SMP car. Now, as we saw a moment ago on the last cycle of pit stops, the majority of the GTE Pro cars are all coming in together. The leading pink Porsche has already stopped a lap ago, so that is out on the racetrack. That is Muller getting out, and there is the pink Porsche. Now it's establishing itself into a lead in this class. There is the GTE Am Golf Porsche. That's Michael Wainwright in the number 86. Whoa, that's a big spin and a big off. We saw a crash there for another Porsche in practice and qualifying, and the Englishman just gonna hit the barriers. Oh yeah, that could be serious damage and big problem for him to get back to the pits. Now here is the battle for second position in GTE Pro. There's the pink Porsche, it leads, and the sister Porsche, the blue and white car, having to jink over to the right-hand side. The Ford GT on the right-hand side, as we look at it, gets past. So, as we ride on board, looking from third position, the second place Porsche flings it into the second chicane on the back section. It's Porsche 1-2 in GTE Pro.
Sebastian and box this lap, pit comfort, fuel tires, driver change to Fernando, fuel tires, driver change to Fernando, and rear end change.
Many people have been looking forward to that radio message, not least of all the man himself, the two-time Formula One world champion from 2005-2006, the Spaniard, Fernando Alonso. He gets into the car, the Toyota TSO 50, the hybrid car with some near 1,000 horsepower, four-wheel drive, electric power and engine, and he nearly collects one of the mechanics of one of the number 99 Porsche in front of him. That is how tight and that is how risky Le Mans could be. Here is the battle for the lead in GTE Pro. We are riding on board with the Frenchman, Fred Makovici, in the retro 80s liveried car. He has taken the lead ahead of the Belgian Laurens van Toor. So 91 ahead of 92. Here we are, well, 2.5 hours into this race, and there's nothing between those two guys. Meanwhile, the number 1 Rebellion is in the pits. Is that just a regular bit of servicing? Yes, it looks like it, and it's the reigning LMP2 champion, the Brazilian Bruno Senna, who's at the wheel as he goes back out. Jenson Button, he's waiting his turn to get out on track at Le Mans. But it's going to be a while because they've got an electrical problem with that car. It's losing laps and laps and laps. It's a shame because that had such a strong start with Vitaly Petrov. It's now in the garage. This, though, is the leader in LMP2. It is the G-Drive car, the regular number 26 with the orange livery. It's pulling away. No problems for that car at the moment. Now, this is something that F1 fans around the world have been looking forward to see because that is Fernando Alonso streaking ahead of its teammate. He now leads the Le Mans 24 Hours, but these two Toyotas, the number 8 of Alonso and the number 7 of Jose Maria Lopez, the Argentine, working hand in hand to try and get a lead. Look at these three. There is first, second and third in the GTE Pro category because the Ford has caught up to the two Porsches as they streak past with their 4-litre flat 6 engine in the back of the German car, screaming away on the way down to Indianapolis. Nothing between them. So on the brakes into Indianapolis, it's Van Toor who takes the lead from Makovici, but Sebastian Bourdais is getting closer and closer.
As the Ford is just behind the 92. The 92 will pick this lap, we will pick the next lap.
And the 92 does pit on the next opportunity into pit lane, so the Belgian brings the pink pig in, stops on the line. A driver change, so the Belgian getting out, and that should be Kevin Estre getting back in. That's now left Fred Makovici to try and fend off the Ford, but he has no opportunity to keep the Ford GT behind. Second is now first for the number 68 Ford GT. Bourdais, the Frenchman, leads in France. And he's pulling away as well. Look at that lead as they come through the Porsche curves. The helicopter looking down on these guys. He really has got to move on. And here is a problem for the Jackie Chan Racing number 38. The Frenchman, Gabriel Aubry, he's had a puncture, and that has severely damaged the front of the car. Will he be able to get back to the pits? That is the big question. First and second in class in GTE Pro, they pit. But there's a safety car about to come out. There is Richard Lietz. He gets the go-ahead to go down pit lane. He's got ahead of the Ford as he just checks his belt, but they've been held at the end of pit lane because there's a safety car, crocodile of cars coming out because of this. because this is the number 38 Jackie Chan car, and it's at the top of your screen. Boom! Look at the carbon fibre spearing off into the countryside. He's managed to get round to the pits. That's a good thick end of 10 kilometres, some 6 miles or so to get back to base. Let's see if they're going to be able to get that car back in the race. John Todd from the FIA visiting all of the garages. He knows what's needed to win Le Mans. He did it with Peugeot back in the early 90s. Look at this. This gives you some idea of the speed and the acceleration of these prototype cars. And it also gives you an idea of, if there's a slower car on the side of the racetrack, how dangerous it could be if somebody misjudges. You cannot blink here at Le Mans. And you can't blink if you're going for the battle for second position in GTE Pro. Can the Ford keep the BMW behind? Katzberg edging ahead. Scott Dixon, fresh from winning in Texas at the IndyCar race just last weekend, loses out to the Munich M8. So the Ford goes down to third. Now we are riding on boards with the 2009 Formula One World Champion. This is Jenson Button. The car had a sensor problem. It unfortunately lost 48 laps, but Button is getting important Le Mans experience and also LMP1 prototype experience for the WEC Super Season. Billy Johnson, he gets pushed back into the pits. Is this something to do with the suspension? Yes, it is, because he lost it completely on the way in to the Ford chicane, ironically in the Ford GT. How long will he lose in the garage? This is third position for GTE Pro. Antonio Giovinazzi passing Scott Dixon. Harry Tinknell is just behind as well. 3 AF Corsa Ferraris getting the applause from the team, and that's a big crash for the Colles car. That's an enormous crash. Now what's happened here? Look ahead, there's a coming together. The light yellow flashes of the LMP1 car. Did it make contact with that black Porsche? I rather fancy that it did. That is Dominic Kryhammer, the Austrian, who fortunately gets out of the car.
Track is back to green, track is back to green.
So after a safety car, we now go racing again here at Le Mans. 19 hours still to go. Look at this, it's like the first lap, and somewhere in there is the leader of this motor race. It is Fernando Alonso, but he's now in second position because his teammate in the number 7 car has managed to get ahead. Lopez is ahead, but Alonso is taking risks to keep the momentum, using all the road and the verge and the rest to keep on the tail of his teammate. There's a race victory up for grabs here. And likewise, there's big, important podium positions available in GTE Pro. Here we are with 5 hours into this 24-hour race, and there's nothing between these guys for third position. Ricard Leitz in the blue Porsche, Joey Hand in the Ford, nose to tail. Here, though, is Fernando Alonso in the number 8 Toyota, retaking the leads of the Le Mans 24 hours, ahead of Jose Maria Lopez. That is the lead now, about 10, 12 car lengths, about a second or so. Here is the third position car, trying to hold on to the shirt tails of those Toyotas. It's not going to happen, but third is a hell of a result so far for that SMP racing car. Nervously, Davide Rigon looks on because he can see a potential race victory dropping out of his grasp. His teammate Sam Bird being pushed back into the AF Corsa garage. He needs to be in this battle. The Ford's gone wide. Is that an opportunity for the Corvette to go around the outside? Harry Tinknell made the mistake, so is this a chance for the rest to mug him? Certainly is. He's losing 1, 2, maybe even 3 positions. But we're riding on board with Antonio Felix da Costa, and he's got the best run of all in the brand new BMW. Look at it, charged down the Mulsanne straight. He's now going to be getting onto the tail of the yellow Corvette of Mike Rockenfeller. Hard on the brakes into the second chicane. This GTE Pro battle, if you make the smallest of mistakes, those guys are just going to shake their head in disbelief. Toyota 1-2 with the SMP racing car in third. G-Drive lead Lmp2 ahead of the Panis Barthez car and the blue number 36 Signatech Alpine. Enormous class, of course, in LMP2. You've got to be driving those cars flat out every single lap of this race. We've seen the battle in GTE Pro. It's Porsche now from BMW, from Porsche at the moment, an all-German affair in the 17-car class for GTE Pro. Those are the guys with the green graphics. And in the GTE AM category, it is the Dempsey Proton Racing Porsche ahead of the Ferrari. Now there's an off, and that is the LMP2 car. That is Juan Pablo Montoya. That's an uncharacteristic moment, isn't it, for the Monaco Grand Prix winner, for the Indy 500 winner? Oh, the irony that he has gone off at Indianapolis. Back with GTE Pro. That is second place up for grabs. The number 93, the American-run Porsche, has got ahead of the BMW about half a lap ago on the exit of the Mulsanne corner. Shadows are getting longer as the sun goes down. What's happening in GTE AM? There is the number 77 Dempsey Proton Racing Porsche, and it is Christian Ried who is behind the wheel at the moment. The German got a commanding lead in that class. We're riding on board with the number 8 car that Fernando Alonso has given over to Kazuki Nakajima. It's now second in this motor race because Kamui Kobayashi leads this race. We're on board with Kobayashi, and that is a risky maneuver as he comes onto the Mulsanne straight, almost collecting that marshal's flag. Problem for one of the works Porsches. This is the number 94 car, and it's had a big slide on the way in. That's not right, that's a suspension problem, isn't it? Night beckons and drama unfolding. That's Harrison Newey. He's been battling for 7th position and he's limping back towards the SMP Racing garage. And he was battling with Ledegar in the number 34 Jackie Chan car. Have they gone off separately or together? Well, Newey has managed to get his car back to the pits. They're putting a new tail section on.
We just had a look at the tyres. It looked like something went through the tyre, so it wasn't like a failure. It was just that I noticed coming out of past the Dunlop Bridge, coming down the hill, that I got an alarm on the dash with low pressure, and then I just felt the ride height drop, and I managed to keep it for half a lap, and then it just went completely.
Now here is the bigger brother in LMP1 for the SMP Racing Squad. This is Mikhail Ishakyan, and that's an enormous off at the Porsche curves. Look at him barreling over the gravel, over the grass, and into the wall. Now, he's out of the car, he's trying to take the engine cover off. Can he fix it?
Sebastian, we want to keep the gap around 4 seconds. We want to keep the gap to Kamui around 4 seconds.
Yeah, I'm not the robot, so I'll do my best.
Sophie, that's Sophie.
So you know, I'm on better tires, so it's normal that I catch.
I know, Sebastian, I know.
So to understand this, when I have good tires, I cannot use them. I have to stay behind. But when they will have better tires, they will be able to use them. It is how it is.
Oh, Sebastian Buemi not happy about that, is he? But Ishakyan has managed to get that car going. He's going to try and get that back to the pits, isn't he? He's not got far to go. He's going to get it going, but oh, flames and sparks and clattering, everything going on in the back of that car. The mechanics look on with fear, steam pouring out of the top of that car. It's over. He can't do any more. Now here is Sebastian Buemi coming down the hill after the Dunlop Bridge. Let's listen in.
I did a mistake. I thought the slow zone was off. I'm slowing down more to compensate.
Instead of getting carried away by the race situation, you should listen to the radio.
Now it's done. Let me know if I slow down enough.
Copy. The race is still long, so now cool down. The race is still long. Still 15 hours 30 to go.
So rather sheepish, Sebastian Buemi there. He's been caught speeding in a slow zone. A 60-second stop-go penalty is going to mean that he is going to drop to some 2 minutes behind the sister car and 2 minutes off the lead of this Le Mans 24-hour race. That's the number 81 BMW, the new M8 GTE. It's got a suspension problem, and they're wheeling that back into the pits. That's unusual. So, how much time are they going to lose there? Buemi, though, back in for a driver change. He jumps out, and it's going to be Fernando Alonso getting back into the car, and Fernando Alonso getting into race at night for the very first time. So for Fernando Alonso, is this a step into the unknown for him?
So if we can get right with it there, we may be able to get... Okay, stop this lap. When you can, India 1, when you can. Then it should be green forward. We're doing it. This flag is not housekeeping. Ok, c'est bon. 3 relais.
Now there's the third position car overall. That's the 4.5-litre V8, the Rebellion, the Lmp2 car. It's been pushed into the garage, so its sister car that we're riding on board with now is going to take that third position away. Now here is Fernando Alonso coming in. He has done his night shift. And what a shift he has done. He has really closed the gap that was 2 minutes, now down to under 30 seconds to the leading car. Kazuki Nakajima gets in. Now it's his turn to take the chase on.
We got a penalty which brought the 8 a bit back, and Jose Fernando with a fabulous stint brought it close to and gave it over to Kazuki, who then in the end closed the gap to Kamui. So at the present moment it goes well.
Now here is another problem for the Rebellion. It's the other car that was in fourth, then it's gone up to third. It's in third at the moment, but not for much longer, because the other car is going to take that third position away from it. There it goes, over the line, and number 3 is in third position. As Sunday morning dawns, we are on board with the leader, the number 7 Toyota, but he's left the door open because there is the sister car, the number 8 car. It had the penalty, it had a 60-second stop-go penalty with Sebastian Buemi, but Fernando Alonso and his crew have worked hammer and tongs. But it means that the car is back in the lead of this motor race. That is the BMW M8. That's Alexander Sims. He's gone off in the middle of the Porsche curves. He's got it rolling. He's coming back to the pits. and the MTech guys can look and see and work on it. There's the initial contact that pushed him out to the outside of the racetrack for the bigger damage. The MTech guys will have a look at that and see if they can repair it. First and second in the Le Mans 24 hours, the two Toyotas nose to tail. Sebastian Buemi said to one of the reporters in the pits that the team will let them race up until the last pit stop before the end of the 24 hours. So that's about 3/4 of an hour before the end of the race. Now here is the leader in the GTE AM category, the number 77, going over the grass, going over the pit lane entry, but getting away with it. Literally getting away with it. Meanwhile, oh, that's an off, that's an off, that's a bigger off for the youngster Matteo Caroli, the Porsche Junior driver. That was the car on pole position in the category, and he's gone hard into the barrier. That's a very strange accident. Look at the marks on the grass. Is that car going to be able to get back into the race? Let's have a quick review. Buemi leads in LMP1. The 26G drive leads in LMP2. Kevin Estre in the pink Porsche leads in GTE Pro. And as mentioned, the Australian Matt Campbell at the wheel of the number 77 Dempsey Proton Racing Porsche leads in GTE AM. Talk of the devil, here is the pink Porsche. And they're having a complete front brake change. The caliper and the disc being changed, and already the old one is off, the new ones are going on. Have you ever seen a brake change so quick? This is technology, and that is endurance racing, endurance pit stop racing at its absolute best. That is the leader in the class, and that's an enormous crash for the Dragon Speed LMP1 car. It had a wobble in the middle of the Porsche curves. It's going to go across the gravel into the barrier. Bang! Nasty crash into the barrier. That's Ben Hanley at the wheel. There is his teammate Van der Zande looking on nervously, almost a tear in his eye. Hanley has managed to get the car back to the pits, but there's barely a straight panel on it. Now here is Andre Lotterer, the number 1 Rebellion in the pits. It's dropped to 4th position overnight. It lost 2 laps during the moonlight hours, but here we are in the daylight hours. He's making progress to get a little bit further back up the order. There is your leader in LMP2, Roman Rusinov. He's won the World Endurance Championship. That was back in 2015, but can he now win Le Mans? The leader of the GTE Pro category, the pink Porsche. There is the Ferrari, but that's not for position. The Ferrari pushing right up the rear of the 911 RSR. How bizarre. That Ferrari is unlapping itself.
So, this guy's pushing. He's pushing. I know, you're live on TV. Like, what is up with this guy?
It's not NASCAR. This is Le Mans. A new one on me there. Yellow flags are out. Double yellow flags are out. There's a safety car out. And one of the drain covers has been dislodged. Also a problem for the number 97 Aston Martin, the brand new car, Maxime Martin, going slowly. There is Johnny Adam, the victor of this class 12 months ago, looking on.
Track is green. Slow zone 3 is in position. Slow zone 3 is in position.
So the cork has well and truly been taken out of the bottle. One of the Ginettas going on the right-hand side, kicking up all of the dirt, getting past the AM cars, getting past the GTE Pro cars. That is Jimmy Bruni battling with Muller, battling with Tinknell. They've all closed up together for 2nd and 3rd in the GTE Pro class. The pink Porsche still leads. That's further up the road by about 1/3 of a lap. And that's a big off. That's a big crash for the United Autosports car. That's Paul di Resta. Oh, big, enormous hit into the wall in the Porsche curves. And the former Formula 1 driver is out of this race. But more importantly, he's out of the car and he's okay. We're green again after the di Resta accident. This is a replay of the Rebellion getting past one of the LMP2 cars. Or is it? Yes, it is now. That was a close one. This is the battle for fourth position in LMP2. Capierre in the number 39, passing Perodo's number 28. Now there's the number 91 Porsche. That's second in class, and that is in big trouble. That's Fred Makovici going through the Porsche curves, and he's let Andy Priaulx right up behind him. Priaulx with Ford getting closer and closer to second position, and he takes it as he goes down to the Mulsanne corner. Also behind them is Sébastien Bourdais in the number 68.
Top job, Andy. 2 laps, mate. 2 laps.
Now here is the LMP2 leader, the 26G drive car. Jean-Eric Vergne getting out, Pizzitola getting in.
At the beginning of the race, I was a bit worried. I had a lot of understeer, and the car just goes improving. And I did 28 something in the last lap, which was a bit of a weird stint because I didn't have one clear lap because of the slow zone on the safety cars.
This is the battle for second position in GTE Pro, and that's Sébastien Bourdais lunging and making it stick with the Ford GT with the red mirrors. His dad cheering him on. Local man Seb Bourdais from Le Mans, but he's got Fred Makovici, another Frenchman, alongside him in the blue and white retro liveried Porsche, going down the Mulsanne straight, building speed, 160, 170 miles an hour in these GT cars, but Makovici is making it exceptionally wide. He does not want that Ford going through. Now on the run down to Indianapolis, Bourdais trying to go around the outside, and it works into Indianapolis. That is one hell of a manoeuvre by the Frenchman, but I think he's rather fired up to try and get this position and to make it stick. But Makovici comes back as they exit Arnage, going up, and they're kneeling on the grass. The marshal's running for cover on the left-hand side. That is how quick it is. There's a wry smile from Porsche, but that was close. Meanwhile, this is the Argentine Lopez getting a bit of a pendulum effect on through the Dunlop chicane at the top of the hill. He's spun from second position, but he'll keep his second position. Now, this is the third place car in this motor race overall. It's the Rebellion, and there's a door open.
Okay, Neil, at slow speed, try to close it. We don't manage to do it. At slow speed, try to close it.
If that door won't close, they're going to have to come into the pits. That's Neil Gianni at the wheel. He's trying to snap the thing shut. He's just taken over from Bruno Senna, who watches from the pit wall. Second in the class, Fred Makovici jumps out. Richard Lietz, the Austrian, taking the Frenchman's place with the Porsche number 91. That is Sébastien Bourdais' car. They have had a driver change, but it's the Porsche who's got ahead.
We have an awesome car, to be honest. The first stint was a little bit tricky because with the pressure went up with the temperature, and that's why I had a drop, and I also did a mistake. That's why I wanted to come back, because with my mistake we lost around 5 to 10 seconds, and but after the car was really awesome, nice fight. Apparently Seb was not happy, but for me it's okay.
Two-time Formula One world champion Fernando Alonso returns into the pits. His work is done. He gets out of the car. Nakajima gets in. There's nothing more that Fernando Alonso can do, so it's now down to the Japanese to see if he can get this car to the line and get it to the victory.
We were leading the race all the 24 hours with car 7 or with car 8, and now we are again first and second with 2 hours left, so definitely has been a good race for us so far, and try to finish the job in the last 2 hours.
Now, we saw a problem with one of the Ferraris earlier, but this number 51 car is the reigning world champion car in GTE Pro, and that's been wheeled into the pits. Now we've got a car stopped on the side of the track, and that's Jenson Button. The SMP Racing guys look on because that's gone bang. Not the debut he wanted, but Button will be back. Here is the leader in GTE Pro. It's still the number 92, the pink Porsche. It leads, the fuel goes in as Dr. Porsche himself looks on to see how his car's are dominating here this weekend at Le Mans, not only in GTE Pro, but also in GTE Am. Patrick Dempsey running the team, looking at his watch. Stressful times with just over half an hour remaining for what could be a class victory. What about the class victory for the number 26? Lmp2, the G-Drive car. Could this be their year at Le Mans? Is it going to be their year for Toyota at Le Mans? There's nothing more that anybody else can do except the drivers in the cars for all four classes. Here we go into the final chicane. It's going to be the number 8 car that is going to take the checkered flag to take victory at Le Mans. But for Toyota, it is a 1-2 across the line. Domination indeed in 2018. Buemi, Nakajima and Alonso win the Le Mans 24-hour race. After 21 attempts and 2 years ago retiring on the very last lap with 4 minutes remaining, redemption for Toyota.
Guys, we are so proud of you. So proud of you. A fantastic job.
I am so proud of you guys, everyone. Anyway, great job from the team. 1-2, great job. The car was good and through.
Buemi and Alonso join their teammate Nakajima in front of the fans. A packed grandstand here at Le Mans. For Alonso, that's 2 down of the Triple Crown.
We finally managed to make it as a great story, and it was all from team's effort and all the hard work from the team. Finally made us to win this race, and thanks to my teammate, including car 7 guys, I think we were both deserved to win.
The number 26 G-Drive car in LMP2 takes the victory for Rusinov, Pizzitola and John-Eric Verne. Finally the team win Le Mans.
Finally we did it, you know, even 10 minutes before the end was, you never know, right? What happened with Toyota some years ago, you never know. So you really, yeah, good feeling. I still didn't realize it.
Podium time. This is the stuff of dreams of racing drivers, of sportsmen all over the planet. To win at Le Mans is massive. G-Drive winning ahead of Alpine, ahead of Graf for LMP2. In GTE Pro, it's the pink Porsche that takes the victory. Michael Christensen, Kevin Estre and Laurens van Toor dominating. And for the Dane, Michael Christensen, he slows down on the cooling down lap and just says hello to Alan Simonsen, who's no longer with us.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It was the longest day of my career and the best one. So I'm really proud to be part of this big family which called Porsche, and we proved today that we are the greatest. So that's it.
They have been the greatest in 2018 at Le Mans. The retro colour scheme has drawn a big wow across the world as Dr. Ulrich, the former architect for Audi Sport and now an advisor to the Le Mans organisers, gives the trophies out. Porsche from Ford. In the second year of the brand new 911 RSR, that has meant they've got their WEC Super Season off to a flying start. And in GTE Am, Porsche also dominates. Patrick Dempsey not acting there, is he? That is pure, raw emotion. The big boss from Hollywood is on another planet. For Campbell, Reed and Alblauer, what a race. But I think their boss is just living the moment.
Fantastic to be here with Porsche. 70 years, phenomenal. Thank you so much. Thanks to the team. All right, we're on the top step.
Le Mans for 2018 once more has been one for the fans, but an even bigger one for Toyota. Finally, they've got their name in the record books. All the heartache of years past now washed away with victory. And for Kazuki Nakajima, it's the first time a Japanese driver wins with a Japanese car. Sebastian Buemi, the Swiss, joins him on the top step of the podium with Fernando Alonso. Michael Fassbender, the actor and huge racing fan, gives the trophies out. Now the victory is in their pocket. Toyota from Rebellion is how Le Mans 2018 has finished. And isn't it fitting that the entire team lift the trophy? Everybody in first and second position, management, drivers, all lifting that trophy sky high. They deserve every single moment.
Merci à Toyota pour l'esprit et pour toute la dédication que nous avons fait, la préparation pour ces courses. Et nous avons ici mon ami et je suis très content et merci tout le monde.
Toyota from the Rebellion, G-Drive from the Signatech Alpine, from the Graf, the number 39 in LMP2. In GTE Pro, the Porsche ahead of the two Fords. They couldn't quite get their teeth in, but the leading four all on the first lap. And in GTE Am, the Porsche from the Spirit of Race Ferrari. And that now leads us on to round 3 of the WEC Super Season, Silverstone.
Good job, also right on track. Good job.
As he goes up toward the inside line, the Toyota gets ahead of the Porsche.
Well done, Pep. 2-1. Defense is off, you know, yeah?
Yeah, copy that. I'll go and leave it on 353 on that.